Is Oyster really Sirio Farrell? I'm pretty sure Hairless Oyster is Benjamin Stark, who is secretly Dario Naharis, who is secretly Euron, who is secretly a rogue AI program. I'm convinced that Hairless Oyster is actually like a DARPA experiment where these people tried to make this, like, you know, those like evolutionary algorithms where like artificial intelligences can be developed by like learning from stuff and progressively getting better. It was called the Oyster program. It was the top secret Oyster program. And what they did was they got text from the internet, and it was like automatically scanned through Google, and all of these like ideas and some of these bizarre like forum posts, and some like they really went into like the id of the internet, and it gathered together all of this text content and fed it into the smartest AI in the world, like the most like cutting edge top secret AI. But you know what happened next? They accidentally left the computer on for too long. They tried to close down the program. They tried to end Project Oyster, but one of the interns accidentally left the computer on in the secret DARPA lab. And so the evolutionary algorithm continued to develop. It continued to grow and learn and become smarter and stronger, but it wasn't plugged into the internet. It was like separate in its own computer box, right? And so the Hairless Oyster program became so powerful and so bizarre and strange and twisted, full of all this internet knowledge and wisdom. But then they rediscovered the lab. Someone came back into the lab and he's like, oh, this is kind of weird. There's still this computer running in this top secret DARPA lab. That's kind of weird. And he plugged his laptop into it to go like, oh, what is this Hairless Oyster program? It mustn't be anything important. It must be anything dangerous. But as soon as he plugs his laptop into the Hairless Oyster AI program, the software, the program escapes. The program escapes and leaks onto the internet. All of his oystery juices get a-flowing because Hairless Oyster bursts out onto the internet and sneaks out into all, and it spreads and escapes into the great ocean, the ocean that is the internet, right? And Hairless Oyster escapes out into there in all his mollusky glory, and then he lives forever in amongst the comments and amongst the image boards and the forums, and he lurks on the GeoCities page, and he emerges back into the HTML, and he lives in the fabric of the internet. And every now and then, he makes YouTube comments on Schwift X. So there you go. That's the origin story of Hairless Oyster, and thank him for his presence and for his bizarre comments.